Reimagining Our Abundance. It's a webinar series. We will have 10 different webinars to go through this series, and this is number 1. So what I will do during this seminar is to teach you about abundance, because a lot of us, we have to reimagine our abundance. We either lost our jobs, our businesses are in jeopardy, and we need to switch gears and do things differently, because the world suddenly has changed. And some of us, many of us, the carpet was swept from under our feet, and we're surprised, and we're not sure what to do about this. So I created this series of 10 webinars on abundance. My book on abundance is coming out in September in libraries. So I thought I would use this time where I'm home and I'm not teaching outside to talk to you about abundance. So a lot of time when we think about abundance, we think about stuff. We think about money, we think about maybe free time. I think about that because I love to have a lot of free time. And we think that it's really something that we can take into our hands, and we have a lot of that, so that means we are abundant. We have a lot, like for example, we have a house or two, we have cars, and we think, I'm living in abundance, okay? So I was reflecting about 2 or 3 weeks ago when this thing was starting. I was reflecting on my abundance, and I was sitting at home in front of the fireplace, and my belly was full. Actually, my belly is full so many times that I could use to lose some weight. And, I was comfortable in my house with money in the bank and nothing to worry about. My government taking care of me during this pandemic. And I thought, why is it that I'm so blessed and other people are not blessed, and they're in some poor countries and they're hungry and they're getting sick with no health care? So I wrote we have a reverend in town who rings the bell of the church every day at 10. And I asked him, I wrote on the blog and I said, why am I blessed while others are not? How does God do that? It doesn't seem fair to me. Can you explain God's blessing and why we aren't getting all the blessings? Why I didn't understand. And the Reverend said, wow, big question. It was the evening before Easter. And the next day he took some time to explain to me how it worked. And he said, what we usually think in our culture of blessings, of abundance, that's not really what it is. So to live in abundance, actually, it's not to have a lot of stuff, a lot of money and all those things. It's actually to, when we are blessed, he said, it's because we are blessing others. To have the capacity to go out there and serve others. This is how we are blessed. This is what abundance is. When we have some gifts and we give them to others. So the blessing is really in giving, not in receiving. And as a byproduct, of course, of giving of ourselves, giving of our talent, we get paid and we can buy stuff. But really, the abundance is not about accumulating things. The abundance is to serve people. I'll give you an example. My dad's wife, who's 88, she sits in her chair most of the day and she can't go to work. She's 88, she's old, and she has, lung issues. But when I call her on the phone, it's pretty abundant. She listens to me. She read the spiritual book that I read, and we discuss, and I read her my new songs, and she gives me amazing feedback. So she's giving me, and we feel very abundant when we talk to each other. I have somebody that I can call and talk to. So blessing others is really how we are in abundance. So we need to really rethink how we're going to do that, because where we used to do it, it doesn't exist anymore. Perhaps I was planning this career where I put my house on sale and houses sell nicely here. I have beautiful gardens and beautiful trees, and I thought my house is going to sell real fast. I'm going to buy a little RV and I'm going to go and I'm going to tour and speak. And I planned all this. And and I went to all kinds of training to learn how to be a speaker. And my big plan was I'm going to go from one spot to the other in retreat centers, and I'm going to speak and talk about my books and sell my books and sell my speaking engagement. Well, guess what? Plan A is down the drain. So what am I going to do? I need to rethink my abundance. So that's what we are going to learn a little bit about today. So there are some basic rules or basic law of abundance, and we'll talk about a few of them. So number one, abundance only exists in the present. So I cannot take actions in the past, nor can I take action in the future. It's not there at this moment. However, I can take some actions that will affect the future, which is what we're doing right now. We're learning how to reimagine our abundance so that tomorrow maybe we'll take some actions that will bring us again what we need to make a living, how to serve others. So we have to always stay in the present, because yesterday is gone and tomorrow doesn't exist. So abundance exists in the here and now. And also what is another rule that is important with abundance is acceptance of what is. Okay? So when we don't accept what is, it's like we would put a dam and we stop the flow of abundance. Now, abundance is a default mode. Okay? So that's the third law, if you want, or principle of abundance. It's the default mode. So if I'm not being abundant, I'm doing something to block it, because by default, I am abundant. If we look at how the planet works, we look at nature, we have a perfect example of abundance. So the water in the lake evaporates up, goes into the cloud moves, throw the water down, goes to the lake trickles up again in the cloud moves around, throw the waters, and so and so. So it's always a continuing abundance, because it's a circular economy. So the way nature works, everything runs in circle, and nothing is ever wasted, everything is recycled. Now, sometimes in nature, abundance moves around, okay? So abundance is a default mode. That's really important. If you are feeling deprived of something, cut from what you need, you're doing something that is blocking this natural process. Now, the fourth principle that we will look at, it's in movement. Abundance is in movement. So in order to stay under the abundance, we're going to have to move. If you look at the animals, they know that when there's nothing to hunt, they will move to another forest. Sometimes the whole population of rabbits will disappear and the fox will disappear too, and then something else will thrive. The forest will burn completely, and then other plants that couldn't grow in that forest will start suddenly thriving. So abundance is in movement. So if we stay still and we don't adapt and we don't change, we're not going to be able to remain in abundance. So that's the four really important principle to look at when we think about abundance. So it's not stuff. It's actually a state. It's a default mode. Okay. We are abundant in the present when we are actually giving of ourselves, giving of our gifts. We are abundant. And when we are in movement, when we see that there is a switch. At this moment, there is a big switch. Okay, so this virus came, and we have to rethink a lot of things. Okay, so we're going to have to adapt and move to follow abundance wherever it goes. Okay, so how do we how do we stay in that movement and that flow of abundance? Well, there's in French there's a saying that says c'est avec de l'argent qu'on fait de l'argent. We make money with money. So therefore, abundance is the same thing. If you think that you have nothing, then it's true. Because there is a law. You know, there are some laws in the universe. Of course, there's laws of nature. I just stated a few laws of nature, but the whatever we believe, what we believe is the truth. And life will prove it to us. Now, I learned that years ago. So basically, whatever we believe creates our reality. There isn't only one reality on this planet. There are many, many realities, and at this moment, we can see on Facebook, in the news, on Google News, on any news channels, on YouTube, all kinds of YouTubers with an account and something to say. We have a lot of realities. You have the realities of those who think that there is a conspiration. You know, you have a reality of those, and they think Bill Gates made it. Made the virus. Then you have the realities of those who really believe in what the doctors are telling us and science and what the government is trying to do. And there's all kinds of other reality bubbles. There's tons and tons and tons of realities, just like there's tons of, this can be the religious of the Mormons, and this could be the Catholics, and this could be those with absolutely no religion. And that's their reality, and they live among people who share their beliefs, and that is the truth. And life proves them to them that this is the truth. Okay, so if you believe that it's a conspiration, suddenly you will attract to you everybody that thinks the same way. If you've ever bought a white car, what do you see all over the world, all over the street? White cars. You're pregnant? What do you see suddenly? Pregnant woman. Whatever we believe, we see in our mind, we attract to us. So if you believe you have nothing, it will be true, and you'll have nothing. Okay? So it's very, very important that when you want to stay in the flow of abundance, to check your thoughts. When I was told this, and it was about, I would say, 15 years ago, and I was broke. My spiritual mentor told me this, and I was so mad. I was mad that she put me in charge of my reality. She said to me, basically, you are responsible for your beliefs, and your beliefs create your life. So if you don't like your life, go change your belief. And it took me a few years to digest this truth and to start to look at my belief and start to change them. So the way that we change our abundance, if we think that we have nothing and we're broke and our business is down the drain, we start to make a list of gratitude. And then we can do this in two ways, okay? I always do two. So I have an exterior list, and then I have an interior list, okay? I've learned in all the years that I've been doing this spiritual work on abundance that everything comes from the inside out, okay? So I said earlier that my beliefs here create my reality there. So if I want to just be in the flow, I'm going to have to start with something. What is it that I have? So for example, for myself, when this virus came and I was told that the schools are closed Thursday night, you're not going to work Friday. Oh, well, you know, I was giving my teaching and to the exterior, to the schools, but then this doesn't exist anymore. What am I going to do? So what do I have? Well, I write. I'm a writer. I have books, and I'm a speaker. I can speak. I can teach. So where else can I do that? So you list everything that you actually have, your experience. You look at your resume, you have a lot of experience there. And then you look at everything you have on the outside. Well, for me, I saw that outside there were a lot of publishers. There were a lot of people on the internet with a lot of time on their hand trying to maybe reinvent themselves. And what is my big specialty? Reinvention. I have a lot of experience in reinventing new career. So I thought, well, I'm going to teach people how to do that. So this course that I will present at the end of this presentation on abundance, we'll see it's about reinventing yourself. So you start by making a list of gratitude. And you know, my lists are pretty big. I'm looking for my notebook here. I make lists. So I just start and I write. And I make big list of everything I have. And I do that, and once in a while there's a smarter ID, and there's a smart ID, and I thought, what I need is accountability partner the other day, because when I go to schools, there were the teachers, the principals, there were, there was a schedule, and all this frame was allowing me to do my job, but when I got home on my own, well, the frame was gone, the structure was gone, the plan was gone, and what am I going to do? So I looked at, I have accountability partners. So I have a girlfriend. She texts me what she's going to do on her business every 2-3 hours, and then she texts me when she's done, and I do the same. So these are resources that I have on the outside. So the first thing you do when you want to get back into the flow of abundance is make a list of gratitude. Make a list of all the resources that you have inside and outside of yourself, and that will get you starting. Once you have this list, you'll be in the flow again. Tommy asked a question. He said, can someone be afraid of success and unknowingly sabotage themselves? How do you change that mindset? We will address that tomorrow, and we will deal how to stop sabotaging our abundance and how to deal with everything that blocks our abundance. So thank you so much for watching me.